Welcome back to the Sitrep podcast. I am your host, Oriskany Jim, and welcome to part 2 of Tank Clash at Knightsbridge. This was a game of IronFist Publishing's Battlegroup played between myself and my friend Mark Ritchie at Dust Creek House, home of the South Florida Miniatures Gaming Club. Now, Knightsbridge was sort of the closing act, or one of the closing acts, of Rommel's Gazala offensive in North Africa in May and June 1942. Now, historically, Knightsbridge and Gazala in general, let's just say the British called Knightsbridge Black Saturday. This was a curb stomp. This was a woodshed ass whooping of epic proportions delivered by the Germans against the British. Now, so far, I'm playing the Germans as spearhead of 8th Panzer Regiment, 15th Panzer Division, kind of Rommel's right fist. And so far, the game is, we're kind of reversing roles a little bit. Let's just say that so far, all the woodshed ass whooping is coming at me, as opposed to the other way around. Mark is playing elements of 9th Queen's Royal Lancers, along with a whole bunch of other units. 4th Armored Brigade on loan from 1st Armored Division to 7th Armored Division, the famed Desert Rats. So, again, the link to part 1 of this video is going to be in the description of this video, in case you're wondering how I got into this bad of a position. But like I alluded to in part 1, Battlegroup is a game that can turn around just like that. And the Germans are about to start getting lucky, and Oriskany Jim might actually start paying attention to what the hell he's doing on the table. So let's see if I can turn this thing around. Okay, so wrapping up German turn 4, you can see where I have gone forward with some of my German infantry, and with an anti-tank grenade attack, knocked out a Bren carrier. I did pay to have anti-tank grenades in the German force. It is expensive, but a German Panzer Division in 1942 does have that option. Meanwhile, my 3.7mm anti-tank gun moved forward, took a shot at that other Bren carrier, and unfortunately missed. Alright, so I'm looking here now at my losses so far. I've definitely lost my Mark IV, I've lost my 7.5 infantry gun, and 2 of my short-barreled Mark IIIs. So that gives me, okay, correct, the 4 counters drawn so far. Meanwhile, Mark has taken 6. So I do own more objectives than he does, and I have forced him to draw more counters than I've had to. So despite getting the hell kicked out of me on this table, I hesitate to say this, I believe it or not, I actually am winning the game, at least on a points and objective basis. I've just lost way too many units. I don't expect to hold on to this lead for very long. Pretty sure I'm going to get curb stomped. And sure enough, now that we're entering British turn 4, he's calling in his 25 pounders right there on my headquarters section. You see where my headquarters section has moved next to that yellow dice. That is one of our objective indicators. So that was the reason why Mark had to draw another objective counter, because I do now control 2 of the table's objectives. Alright, he calls in his spotter round. He rolled a 2. That means it's going to drift by 2d6 inches. It's going to drift by 8 inches. Okay, so we use a 12-sided dice for a clock ray method. That first dice was cocked. Alright, so 12. So it's going to be a long round. It's going to go further forward than he planned by a distance of 8 inches. That's okay though, because artillery in this game, especially guns like 25 pounders, affect everything within 10 inches. So 8 inches long, that's what she said. But in seriousness, 8 inches, long shot, it's still within the blast radius. He's going to drop a lot of HE frag on my poor little... Oh no! It looks like that 25 pounder barrage also blew up one of my telephone poles. And a palm tree. Oh, and then the palm tree again. Yeah, these 25 pounders are badass, man. Alright, so he's got 4 shells because there's 2 guns. They both take the open fire order. He's going to make his communications check, and now the shells come in. Alright, cool. So he didn't score any 1s, which are straight up misses. Didn't score any 6s, which are kills. Everything here is going to be a pinning attack. We've gone ahead and resolved the effects of that 25 pounder barrage. Long story short, everything there is pinned, including my Mark III specials. Yes, you can pin down tanks with artillery, especially good artillery like 25 pounders. You see here where Mark is bringing onto the table 2 US-made M3 Grant Lend-Lease tanks, and he's gone ahead and opened fire on my Mark III specials here. Each one of those tanks has 2 guns, a 75mm in the hull and a 37mm in the turret. So 2 tanks, 2 guns each, double fire order. I wind up being shot at 8 times, only 2 hit, and neither penetrate, and you saw me with those black dice make both my morale checks. So my Mark III specials are okay right now. Meanwhile, I'm going to take some machine gun fire I missed in the previous turn. I cannot fire my coaxial machine gun. The gunner in a tank turret clearly is the same guy that operates both the gun and the coaxial machine gun, so I've already fired my main guns. My gunner has basically taken his turn, so I've left with bow machine guns. 3 dice, as you saw there on the card, times 2 tanks, times double fire order, equals a total of 12 dice, and I'm looking for 4-ups. I'm going to wind up with 6 hits. That's 6 saves his anti-tank team is going to have to take to see if he survives this machine gun fire. So hopefully the camera will pan up a bit and you will see the anti-tank team in the extreme upper left-hand corner of your screen. Okay, beginning German turn 5, the first thing we're going to do is to roll 4 orders. 2d6 because this is considered a platoon level game, and I wind up with 6. Not the best. Now I only get to add 4 to that roll because of my 6 officers, 1 is burning and 1 is pinned down. So I did have 6 officers, 2 are out of commission. I only get to add 4 to my 2d6 roll. I'll wind up with 10 orders for this turn. I don't know, man. This table's starting to look a little rough. There's a lot of burning German armor on the table, and his Crusaders are starting to turn my left wing. Oh, quick note, I did take out that anti-tank rifle team. He didn't get nearly enough saves to save against my MG fire. So I'm picking on his little units. I'm picking on his small, easy-to-kill units, trying to force him to draw some battle rate encounters. Alright, meanwhile, my little 3.7 centimeter anti-tank gun did take an open fire order. That gives me 2 shots. I failed to observe on the first, observed on the second, scored a hit on that Brent carrier. Now at this range, it's pretty close. I'm within 10 inches. I got a 4 versus an O. Boom! That's an actual penetration. So that is a Brent carrier smoked. Was no longer carrying infantry. I've actually already killed the infantry in that Brent team. Meanwhile, here come my 2 Mark III specials are going to open fire on this new Crusader that's decided to pop up. Alright, it's a pretty close range shot. So I've scored a hit. 4 versus a K on the front armor of a Crusader 2. It's a 9. It's on 2d6 to penetrate. Alright, this isn't the best, but I can do it. Oh man, I missed by 1. That's like the 3rd or 4th penetration shot this game I have missed by exactly 1 digit. So he's good to go. He does have to make a morale check. He makes the check, and he's okay. Alright, so the crew is not rattled by that hit. Alright, so that's going to be it for that order. Oh, one thing I did miss on the recording was I called in my 8 centimeter mortar, tried to knock out his 6-pounder anti-tank gun there on my left wing. I missed the 6-pounder anti-tank gun, but I did score a hit and kill his 2-inch mortar team. So I'll take it, because it's technically its own unit. It's part of the motor infantry support package. Didn't hit what I was aiming at, but I still forced him to draw another battle rate encounter. Ach, Himmel, one of my Mark III specials is kaputt. Okay, on a serious note, we're now halfway through British turn 5. It's not going well for my tanks at all. I pretty much don't have a left wing at this point. You see that troop of Crusaders, those 3 Crusaders there that are now pretty much turning my left and going to develop into a single envelopment. Now you do see some motor rifle troops of mine coming up on my extreme left. I'm sort of trying to outflank his outflanking maneuver. Not sure if that's going to work. It's kind of a Hail Mary shot at this point, but I'm going for it anyway. You do see that 6-pounder knocked out thanks to a lucky battle rating counter draw. We are now beginning German turn 6, and the first thing I'm going to do is take a tactical coordination order. So this is going to cost me one of my orders for the turn. Even worse, it's going to cost me a battle rating counter. So the camera's looking, but I'm not, I promise. You blind draw a battle rating counter out of the bin. Alright, that's 2 more points against me. Again, my battle rating limit in this game is 42. Now what that does allow me to do is make a roll for a specific unit. Okay, I rolled a 3. I'm pretty sure that's what was required. My units are considered regulars. Regular unit needed a 3+. Whew, I barely made it. Okay, so what tactical coordination is an expensive, risky order. It costs you a battle rating counter, it costs you one of your orders, but if you make the roll, it allows you to unpin a unit early. So I've unpinned that Mark III long, and I'm now going to combine with that other Mark III long. My third one is burning, unfortunately, and open fire on those Crusaders there on the high ground. All right, meanwhile, over here, this is where my infantry, again, on my extreme left, has started to give Mark a little something extra to think about over there on the extreme edge of the battlefield. You see there where he has taken one of the objectives. He forced me to draw a battle rate encounter. Now I'm trying to take it back with an infantry battle. Now there's an up-close infantry battle. There is a grenade rule. There's a point-blank shootout between that fire team that just jumped out of that Bren carrier and my Schutzen infantry that just jumped over that wall. I'm not sure I'm going to come out on the edge of this one because he does get to shoot at me first, and it's not going to turn out too well for me. Though he did roll very well there. Then again, I've only got 4 guys. Also, there's a Bren gun not only in his infantry section, but also on the Bren carrier itself. So it's using up some of his orders, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to come out on the winning end of this little exchange over here, to be honest. Alright, so we scored 9 hits. I'm going to go ahead and try to make some... Oh, not even close. I made literally 0 saves on those 9 hits. So, oh, there goes another officer. That's going to also impact my orders. Oh, man, what was I thinking? I was just basically trying to tie up his right wing moving against my left. Okay, let's draw another battle rate encounter here. Come on, give me something good. At least it's a low number. You see here how many battle rate encounters I've had to draw. It's... The Germans are running out of units. It's getting to the point where it almost doesn't matter that I roll terrible on order size. I don't have that many units left to... yeah, there's another tank burning. It's getting to the point where I don't have enough units left to activate with my orders, as bad as I'm rolling with my orders dice. So it's like an embarrassment of problems here. Like literally nothing's going right here. So I'm down from 6 officers down to 2 because I've lost another Mark III officer. I've lost that infantry officer on my far left. He's continuing to move tanks around my left wing, as you see there. Alright, so now he's going to take a shot at that truck, and yeah, as soon as he hits, he destroys because it's a soft-skinned vehicle. I should have withdrawn that truck. That's another oversight on my part. Once trucks have unloaded, and if they're within 10 inches of the table, you can use what's called the withdrawal order to safely remove them from the table, so this doesn't happen.
I got that truck with a bazooka.
What do they want for Christ's sake? A silver slot?
Basically, a free battle rate encounter draw for your opponent. How hard is it to blow up a truck? Nevertheless, you blow up a truck, it forces a counter draw, and that's 2 more points against my quickly disintegrating battle rate encounter threshold. So yeah, this is just execution time. He's continuing to move those Crusader 2s around my inside left flank there. Now he's going to open fire against my mortar crew. Now remember, those are 2-pounders, which have 0 HE value. So he's stuck only with machine guns. Or a machine gun. He's got a machine gun he's going to fire at my mortar crew. Again, the 40mm QF 2-pounder at this point of the war did not fire a high explosive shell and is thus kind of useless against infantry. But he rolls pretty well with his machine gun fire. I failed my 1 save, so there's 2 men in the unit. He obviously just killed one because I failed the save. And now, with only 1 man left in the unit, it triggers the last man standing rule. Last man standing rule in Battlegroup means that once there's only 1 man left in a unit, except, holy crap, I just lost my mortar team. Me oh my, would you look at the time? Stuka is going to arrive. And I do have built into my force, and I still have him alive, my forward air controlling team. So I only have to roll a 3+ now to bring that Stuka onto the table. So I think even Oriskany Jim can make that roll. Except no, I can't! Oh my god. I even buy the right units, I even have a good roll, or a good target for my roll, and I still can't do it. But I'm going to try next turn again, and hopefully bring the Stuka onto the table. That thing carries a heck of a ordnance load. I don't think it's going to save the game, but it might make it a little less embarrassing. We are now into turn 7, and I'm just going to say this once for the record. I used to brag that I had never lost a miniatures game at Dust Creek House. There have been some draws in there, and there's been some times I've just been lucky enough to be on the winning team. But no matter how you cut it, let's just say that my no-loss streak at Dust Creek House has come to an abrupt and ignominious end. My forward air control team still cannot call in that Stuka, despite the fact that I paid to have a communications team in my list, so I have 2 chances a turn at a 3+ on a single D6, still can't do it. Alright, so meanwhile, Mark is going to bring one of his Crusaders onto the high ground. He rolls that dice to adjust his movement because that high ground is considered difficult terrain. Meanwhile, I have pulled back my infantry attack on the left wing. He's cut inside of it with that troop of Crusaders. One of them is pinned down, but it doesn't matter because now he takes his second movement and runs over my 3.7 centimeter anti-tank gun. I don't even know if Battlegroup has rules for overruns, so we're going to work something out. But yeah, that 3.7 anti-tank gun pivoted left to pin down that one Crusader. You see me pointing at it there. And as soon as he did that, he got overrun from the front. So can't win no matter what I do. Alright guys, we're now at the end of turn 8. And I am well over my battle rating counter limit of 42. So that is what ends the game. I've got a communications team. I've got a forward air control team. My actual commander team has been wiped out by 25-pounder artillery. Pretty much all my tanks are on fire. You see where he's developed that single envelopment there around my left. Took a last shot on my last Mark III special. Kaboom. And that is not only my last tank, but also is what forced my battle rating limit over the top and caused me to lose the game. Which is, long story short, how a game of Battlegroup is actually decided. It's the first player to exceed his battle rating counter. Every time something bad happens to you, you have to draw one of those battle rating counters. And when your total number, again, those tiles are numbered 1 through 5, the second you go over your total limit is when you have to concede the game. So his 25-pounders were very effective. My 88s, not so much. You see here, both of his grants are still cherry. I don't even think I shot at them, let alone hit them. One piece of good luck I did have is I did manage to draw an ammo low counter for his 6-pounder, and then he rolled a 1 on the result, and it pretty much destroyed the unit. And he wasn't even close to his limit of 47. He was drawing some very, very low counters. To be honest, I know I'm bitching about my luck. I was also drawing some very, very low counters. So again, those counters are rated from 1 to 5. And it's sort of a bell curve. There's more 2s, 3s, and 4s in the mix than there are 1s and 5s. Nevertheless, almost nobody was drawing any 5s. So this game lasted a full 8 turns. This game was not supposed to go this long. But apparently we were both drawing very low counters, which sort of means both of our forces were very, very determined and not in the mood to quit. Apparently both sides needed a win here, and we were both prepared to pay to get it. I just, I can sit here and sort of complain about the dice, but in honesty, all credit to Mark for a well-played game. This is also, I think the second time he's ever played Battlegroup, so it's also an unfamiliar system for him. But for me, yeah, I just got outplayed and paid accordingly. Well, folks, there you go. A rather shameful performance on the part of my Germans, I'm not going to lie. Then again, we did play this game in the middle of the week, so after a full day of work, I had to throw everything into my car, I had to drive it down through rush hour traffic, set up the game, run the game, as well as play the game, record the game. The dice were against me.
Oh, poor you!
Okay, maybe I'm making a few excuses here. The simple truth of the matter is, Mark definitely outplayed me. I made a ton of mistakes. Not trying to take anything away from his victory. That was a well-fought game on his side, and he definitely, kicked the ever-living hell out of me. So there's no 2 ways to say that, really. Meanwhile, I hope you definitely enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Discord. An invitation to our Discord is in the description of this video, so please check us out. Other than that, this is Oriskany Jim. We are rounds complete for another episode of the Sitrep podcast. Tango Mike, as always, for watching, and we'll be in touch very soon.